Another Monday is the Boston Power Hour. My name is Clifford Bonet. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, we're here. We're here. You know why we're here. We do this every single Monday because we love you guys. No, it's because we love sports, damn it. You know who I have here, but before I bring him on, I'm going to switch things up just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason I want to do that is because I have something I would like to discuss with you guys. As you can see, my camera's focusing in and out, but don't worry about that. We'll fix that in a second. I'm a little upset that I, as a former player, tend to, let's say, listen to some sportscasters out there. Not going to say what station, but these guys here, as you can see the three letters up there, they don't believe in that. They don't subscribe to this, which is AGS, any given Sunday. Patriots win, they have a problem with the team. Patriots lose, there's a problem with the Patriots. Any given Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Football isn't just because you have like the best people out there and it just happens. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. The way it works is injuries come into play. Little thing called COVID and other things come into play where you don't have all your players. There's so many things that are involved in winning games, ladies and gentlemen. It's so much more. We come here, we complain. We know who Bass has problems with, Hightower. That's okay. We understand why. We won't say why yet. But what I do want to say is we got to get better. We got to get better as sports fans. And that's my rant for this week. Yes, we put a 50 burger, a boiga, on the Fins. Not the Fins, excuse me. Hopefully we'll do that to the Fins, but the Jags. Are they a JV team? Yes and no. Are we a better team? Of course we are. They don't have a coach over there, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rookie over there as well. We did extremely well. So my rant for this week on this week's Boston Power is what? Any given Sunday. That's all I wanted to say, man. I'm not going to take up all of your time. Because we all know, every week, this guy over here, rant alert, ladies and gentlemen, this guy always has something to say. He's texting me all day. He should be working, but he's like, Cliff, and I'm like, nah, it's okay. No, it's not. So you know what? He comes here, and this is like a confession area. Sir, what do you have to rant about this week?
I loaded up my Mac 10. I'm ready to shoot on everybody out there. You figure 50 burger. We should be excited. Positive vibes only here at Boston Power Hour today. But it's another weekly Babs rant, and there was something that came my way pregame to the Patriots. Ugh. I saw it, and I was just, to say I was like extremely disappointed, to say that I was upset, it's just such an understatement. I felt disgusted, betrayed, backstabbed, and questioned the process. They say trust the process, right?
Right.
And the process has failed us yet again. Always does. And I was upset that one of our past guests here, Keith, a.k.a. Silver Bullet, did not win Fan of the Year. Patriots Fan of the Year, yeah. I want to talk about that to start the show, because look at this smiling faces. This was only about a month ago, month and a half ago.
Yep.
We were all here celebrating, getting ready, talking about Keith's story. And I think, guys, if you want to take the time to go back, scroll back on the Cliff Notes Project YouTube page, and it's there. We've had clips that we posted on Instagram as well, on my personal page over there, the Spike King, and we got to hear Keith's story. We got to talk about Fan of the Year.
Good interview.
We got to talk about his story, traveling, charity work, what it means to be Fan of the Year, what it would mean to not only Silver Bullet, but the community that supports him. And Keith posted put an Instagram post, and I believe it was on Facebook too. I don't really go on Facebook, but he posted something that said, you know, I'm very thankful and humble, and all the outcry support for Silver Bullet and myself individually. And I'm regret to inform you that I have not won Fan of the Year. I saw that and I was rattled. I was absolutely just rattled. I felt bad for Silver Bullet because I was pumping him up, man. He was this hype man for weeks and weeks. But not only that, he was probably astonished at the amount of support. I know I've talked to Justin Zolot, who runs the Nashville fan club, Nash Pats fan club. I've heard the stories from him that all the fan club presidents voted for him, spoke highly about Keith. I've seen it on the Facebook. When after we talked about it here in studio, he's like, hey, you should see my Facebook, how many people supported it. So I looked into that. And just to see the comments on Instagram, in my little world, Instagram, to see the comments on his page of just people that were highly disappointed by the New England Patriots. Cliff, I want you to show who won this year.
You want to do that?
If you want to do,
let's do a little comparison.
And be nice and give them the little round of applause.
Quick little applause. I'm not even going to I'm just going to. Golf clap.
The golf clap.
That's it.
That's your fan of the year. I don't even know his name. I don't care. This award, I've learned this, Cliff, over the last 2 years. So what happened last year, guys, is I was a semifinals for Pat's Fan of the Year. They don't promote it publicly. You have to kind of find it hidden on their website. I saw it. I posted about it on Instagram last year. I had like 60 votes or whatever it was. It was enough to be like, all right, you're a semifinalist. The winner gets season tickets, right?
Right.
And I'm not a season ticket holder, Cliff. A lot of people think I am. I'm not. I don't have season tickets. I find my ways in.
You got the hookup, man.
As you know.
Yes, I do.
You know.
I was there.
You were there for one of the hookups.
I was.
So and it's a good way to, if you're a dedicated fan now, listen, Spike King, Brian Babbs, whatever I am, young Gronk, back in the day, the Patriots don't like it too much. I'm a thorn in their side, as a quote from somebody that told me not too long ago.
It's too bad.
But I get it, and I get it, Cliff. But I get it, Cliff. Like I completely understand it. They don't want someone that's completely a loose cannon off the rails supporting or being their number one fan. So last year, and it was probably the worst year for me to pick it because when you're a semifinalist, you get 2 tickets to a game. You get to go on the field pregame and all that. And they kind of do like a whole, you're on the Jumbotron. And that's what they did with Keith this year. I went through the process. I ended up getting like a Skype interview with David Andrews last year. It was me, the other 2 semifinalists, and David Andrews. So that was cool.
Yep.
And you know what I did, Cliff?
What's that?
And you know what? I was not allowed to record. I was not allowed to take pictures. I secretly did, just for myself. I don't have them. I'm not going to show them or anything. Just because I said I wasn't going
to. Memories. Right.
I took a notebook and I had a bunch of questions ready for David Andrews, and I used it like an interview, just like we are right now. Like I used it as an interview just to kind of gauge and get a response from him. And actually, people remember this. David Andrews was a free agent going into the last offseason.
I remember
that. I was asking him a couple questions about, possibly playing for Atlanta later on. And he talked about that. And, there's some personal stuff I don't want to share because it was one of these situations where it's like, you're just talking to 3 fans.
You're a professional.
Yeah. It's not like, breaking news. He said this, and this. So, and I got a lot of good information out of David Andrews. It was a good experience. I didn't win. And, I didn't take that to heart because I understand what it is, right?
Right.
They were honoring their season ticket members. The other 2 were season ticket members since the 60s. So I get that. And Cliff, now I want you to pull up this email because this email, it just hit me when I saw Keith's news. I was like, I remember I wrote to them last year.
It was when you sent me this email, I was a little shocked.
Yeah. So Catherine, who works for the Patriots, welcome to the Crossfire. And look at the top of the date, December 21st, 2020. Just to show you, this is when I sent it. This is when I got the news that I wasn't going to be Fan of the Year. And they just asked me, pretty much her email was just, hey, you didn't win Fan of the Year, but thank you for supporting the Patriots. What's your address? We're going to send you a little prize pack. And they did. And they sent like a signed autograph by Edelman, which was cool. I gave it away, did a giveaway with it. I did a giveaway for the gift card I got. Catherine, thank you for reaching back with an update on Fan of the Year winner. I will say it was disappointing to hear this news, especially with the grand prize being season tickets for the 2021 season, and the other 2 semifinalists are current season ticket holders for nearly 50 years. Heartbreaking, to say the least, as season ticket holder waitlist is 15 years long, and I'm not a season ticket holder. We had to cut this into 2. I do hope in the future the Patriots organization can expand the eligibility to the whole country. Here's the thing, real quick, keep this on, is that the way to be nominated is just for New England. You have to live in New England in order to be considered for Fan of the Year.
Yep.
But because I've traveled a lot and I've got to meet a lot of great people, there are diehard fans all across this country.
As we've seen.
That are bigger fans than me, trust me, bigger fans than me, that know the game, that support the Patriots, that deserve recognition. So this sentence right here, there are future nominees out there in Nashville, Tampa, Baltimore, and Houston that deserve the recognition for their efforts. And I want to just talk more about that, keep this up, but I want to talk more about that in the sense that I've seen it in Houston, I've seen it in Nashville, I've seen it in Baltimore, I've seen it in Tampa. There are people that deserve at least a recognition of semifinalists.
Respect.
That just deserve to be there and feel part of the Patriots organization.
Agreed.
That's what I want to do. I screwed up my letterings here, or my words, but one thing that's great about running my social media account is finding these individuals throughout the world, those that both make a difference in their community but have a deep down passion for the team. Even though I'm not a winner of the award, I hope that there could be an open spot for me to be an ambassador for the program to help find, help nominate those out there in Patriots Nation who are deserving recognition.
Right.
So, ambassador, just to be an ambassador of the program. I never got a response back from the Patriots.
Yuck.
It is what it is. But I felt like I had to say something because I was a little disappointed, and that never was public, and I didn't make it public till now and the other day when I put it in my story. So I said, screw this. I saw Silver Bullet. I talked to him about it last year, and I said, you know what? I'm going to nominate you next year, but we're going to wait for the time is right. We're going to strike. You got to strike at the right time. It's all about timing.
It sure is.
And that's what we did this year.
Yep.
Because you know what? Okay, if you guys are going to say we're going to give this as an award for season ticket holders, then, okay, well, Keith Silver Bullet is a season ticket holder.
Yes, he
and
is.
he does all the things that are part of the check marks that you're looking for.
Yep.
And now the Brady era is out of here. And this guy still went to games last year when he could. He went down to Miami and he went to Kansas City
That's a
last
fan.
year. That's a true fan during COVID. And
That's
he
a
took
real
the
fan.
proper precautions to travel and do all that stuff. But if their fans were allowed, he was there last year. And he had a killer season thus far. So I think he was just such a layup, it felt like. The person that won it, I guess, is just a season ticket holder for 40 years. And, I'm not going to speak for Bullet and his opinions or anything like that. We barely talked about it. But my opinion is it's just an award that says thank you for being, a loyal Patriots season ticket holder. Here you go. But I look at this. Fan of the Year should be celebrated by, like, those diehard fans, the ones that get dressed up at games, the ones that do great community work and charity work in the outside of the organization that have to do with the Patriots. There's so many of them in Patriots Nation. Other teams, because what happens is at the drafts, the Fan of the Years do the draft picks about third or fourth round.
Right.
And you see some of them who win, and they're like legitimate, dedicated, hardcore fans. Every winner that I've seen has been just an old fuck. Like, seriously, that just, you're a season ticket holder for 40 years. You throw a lobster tailgate once a year, and that's it. Like, you have no passion. Like,
Do you
you're
think
just
they even know the players?
You got one nomination from your son because, I want my dad to be nominated. He's been a season ticket holder. It's just such a fake award, and I think it needs to hold more legitimacy into it. And I will look at it now, because I got to play devil's advocate.
That's right.
As a Patriots standpoint. They are just so clean-cut, militaristic, down to a T. We don't like the outside media. We don't like anything that makes our organization bad. We don't want to have a fan win this award and then something happens to that fan and it makes us look bad.
Yep.
They're playing the safe card with people like this.
Yep.
Not saying Silver Bullet's a bad guy. No, don't get me wrong. I was spinning it more for a guy like myself, right? If I won and I said something stupid, did something stupid, the Patriots could be like, oh, that's your, or someone else, that's your Fan of the Year. That's the guy who's representing
Look at where he was at.
That's the way I see it.
So did I.
Silver Bullet, I was like, he's not like that, though. It's such a different thing. So someone said it to me last night. JNS Design. We were talking on Instagram Live, and he was just like, I just don't want Bullet to win it 20 years from now when he's their age.
Right.
Like, he should win it while he's relatively young.
Right.
And while we're relatively young, and he's not just some old grade.
You don't want it to be like
a into his hair and
like
he
a life
great.
achievement award.
Yeah,
you know?
it's something that should be celebrated in the now. And I told Bullet this, and we'll move on. Is that the support that he got even when he lost is crazy, and I think there's enough people out there that who have followed this that feel the same way, that he was robbed a bit. And I understand there's a process inside their organization. We'll get it one day for him, and he's going to get it, and it's going to feel good when he gets it. But it ain't going to be fucking 20 years from now. It deserves to be done within the next couple years.
Hopefully not, but you know what? The process sucks. Fair to say? It sucks.
Embiid and Joel Embiid ruined that saying, trust the process.
Trust the process.
Because it never worked for the Sixers.
Nope. Well, even the Celtics now, but
Yeah.
I digress. But okay, we had a game though. Good rant though, man. Let's go back. Before we go to the game. I want the fans to really know, because I don't want it to seem like, oh, this guy, everyone just knows everything. You brought him to me where you said, hey, do you know about this guy? I said, yeah, I've seen him. You know, I didn't know about him. I can honestly say the day that he was here and we sat down, we had an interview, kind of just shooting our shit, that I learned a lot, right? Where it wasn't just about, just the game, but it was just about the culture, how he grew up, the amount that people were paying back then. And I would love for everyone to go back, not to bring views up or anything, but actually watch the interview. It was a really good interview.
There was people messaging me afterwards, or I was posting certain clips on Instagram, and they loved the stories of what he has. He has history
genuine.
behind him.
Right.
What rattled me more, and not to make it about myself, I know people are watching. Like, I know the Patriots are watching.
Yep.
Like, and that sounds egotistic.
No, it's not.
But I've said it.
No,
I've said it. I said it to Bullet when we were out week 3 when they were filming, and I had a camera crew following me from NFL Network or whatever it was, and security was following me around. Someone says something to them. There's been multiple times I've got kicked out of things. I've gotten talked to about things, but they're never direct about it to me, into my face. And I've told people around, I don't make it public because it's embarrassing a little bit, and I don't take the L in terms of like making myself look dumb. You just quietly like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna be back, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So it makes me wonder, like, oh, Bullet's associated with that Spike King guy. We don't like that.
Well,
that has creeped in my head as well, too.
Yeah.
We don't like the people that you associate yourself around.
Right.
At the same time, me or a GRD promoting Silver Bullet has brought him up to get more people to understand where he's coming from. The whole point of what my page is and what we're doing, and even what we do here on Boston Power Hour, is to showcase everybody else out there and their talents and what they have in their stories. That's the whole point of what I've been doing. Sometimes I do things this way because it gets the views, it gets people talking, but I want to stay on this course as well, too, to have people, to have the platform to talk and share their stories and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It pisses me off, dude. It really does.
It is a little too bad. It's as if they're looking for the vanilla, no pun intended, like robots. You know what I mean? No one that's a little outlier, like, wait a minute, don't associate with this. And again, these might be all assumptions that we're making, but
there's truth to it. There's truth to it.
Hey,
I know.
And if they are watching, which I know they are, I'd like to say, my name is Clifford Bonet. Nice to meet you. I don't play games. Like, this is what we do. This is a business. We're conducting ourselves as businessmen. We have great production in what we do here. Continue to watch, because there's much, much more coming.
What stings with me, Cliff, is that I don't want to be doing something with you and somehow you get brought down because of me, even though I never did anything wrong.
Right.
And people that have been super close to me, there are people that I tell everything. Like, I don't hide anything. And they see it, and I'll show it to them, and even they're like, you didn't even do anything wrong. You're just there. And it's just the way they run that organization, man. Yeah. It's the way they run that organization. I see, you know what? And I think I might have said this because we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills later. And I know we got to move on. But Buffalo shouts, I usually give him a couple shout outs here. You know, a guy that I met up in Buffalo and a couple years ago, and he's awesome. We talk with each other. He goes, I wish somebody in our organization, in our fan base was like you, because we don't have somebody like that. And I know this, the way Buffalo runs their organization, they're open for everything.
Wow.
They don't care about all the outside noise. The Patriots do. They don't want that stuff. They don't. If we were in Buffalo, we would have Josh Allen sitting on the couch right next to me. I really believe that. That's how all the other organizations run. They're very loose. Like the Patriots run a tight ship.
They're missing out.
Sometimes.
I think they're missing out on like a bigger picture thing, right? Because if it is for the fans, you guys are building, you're expanding on your stadium. You have to add to your product, right? You have to add to your product. Yes, we are diehard fans, but at the same time, bring us in. Don't bring us in just for that one guy. You know what I mean?
And it's not just the Spike King, right? It's not just me. I'm not talking about myself. You have like Pat's Perfect, Justin Sobers, who runs 157,000 followers on Instagram.
Yep.
Work with him. He has a social media that can boost and give you more views to your product,
which is your money.
Or and if you're working with him, it's going to make everyone love the organization even better.
Right.
Or the 2 Minute Drill, who has a podcast and they do their thing, and that was a spinoff of Ride the Wave Media. And even them, everyone covers the game a different way. Even these TikTokers or Twitter people or Instagram, everyone's got different ways of covering it, and it's astonishing because you have your beat writers, your beat reporters, but there are people within Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be, that have more of a following,
right,
that have more of a say, that can cover the game just as good as them. So
100%.
it's just there should be a little bit more access there. But it's just, again, it's tough because it's the way they run the organization under Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, and it's the way they want it.
Yep.
And you got to respect it.
We
too.
respect it. We definitely respect it.
Because if the organization's going to keep winning and keep going to these things, then that's whatever. Got to play ball with them.
And that's what it is. They're winning. As long as they're winning, they have control, and it is what it is. But I respect it, but I want them to also know, like, we're just not who they think they are. Like, ask us questions.
Well, let me tell you this.
Reach out.
You can hold me down 1,000 times over. I'm getting up every single time. I'm not going anywhere. How many times I've told that to people? I am not going anywhere.
You know what we should do?
I will trip and fall down and embarrass myself in front of thousands and thousands of people. I get right back up. Okay. Because then I'm going to do something and get a huge W and everyone's going to celebrate it.
Yeah.
But same thing with the organization. I'm not going anywhere. Right. And it's funny, Cliff, because you went to the game with me and you saw how we went to the game. Yep. And people don't know that. And they're just like it's just funny. It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh, like how that works.
But you know what? Maybe what we do is we make our own fan of the year. How about we do that? We reach out to everybody else,
I like that.
All these other organizations, and say, hey, listen, you know what? You said Buffalo doesn't really do anything like that. Hey, how about we all just collab?
I like that.
You know?
Some sort of fan of the year like that. Yeah.
Guess what? These are the times. The creatives are taking over. But it's all right. But it's all right. I digress.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the game. We had a game, I think it was. It was that or a scrimmage.
Kind of a game.
It was a scrimmage.
The way I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars game was a pre-playoff tune-up for the New England Patriots.
Okay.
It's the most perfect timing to have it. You had back-to-back losses. You use this game to explore with what you have going into the playoffs. It's like preseason. That's what it is. And everything went the way it was supposed to go.
Okay.
You ran up the score. Your defense held it together. Garbage time touchdown at the end. It is what it is. And my theory is Bill Belichick kind of just said, let him have it. Because Trevor Lawrence hasn't thrown a touchdown since like week 12. They were talking about that, right? So since Thanksgiving, so you kind of let him have it. It's also a good way to use that video during practice, and they're going to talk to the defense and how you fix it. It should have been 50-3, but it's astonishing because, again, we've talked about this over and over again. This team hasn't beaten those good teams yet,
right?
But when they're beating up on the bad teams, they're doing it the right way. Like that's how you beat the 2-win Jaguars. You score 50 on them, you give up 10.
But people, this is what I was saying earlier with Any Given Sunday. Our friends on the radio stations are saying, not really a big deal. It is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
These are professionals. And when I mean big deal, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean like this means they're going all the way. We're realistic here. But what we're saying, they're professionals on the other side. And to put 50 points on other individuals on the other side, it's not easy.
It's not easy. And like, it was 28-3 at halftime. Patriots could have just given up.
Yep.
You know, taking their foot off the gas pedal. No, you keep going. You keep going. You keep trying. I'll look at the stats and say a guy like Mac Jones with 3 touchdowns and whatever he had, 227 yards. It's a stat padding game. So I'm not going to look at the game and say Mac Jones threw for 3 touchdowns. He's so great. He's so spectacular. No, you did what you had to do against the two-win Jaguars.
We know what it is.
If you weren't throwing any touchdowns this game, or a 1-touchdown game, or you threw a pick, there's some concern. You did exactly what was needed to be done in this type of game. And also shout out to Mac Jones, who has 21 touchdowns now. He has just, I believe, beaten whoever the rookie, the most touchdowns passes for a Patriots rookie quarterback. So good for Mac Jones to do that. And again, confidence builder for the entire team going into Miami next week.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. I think we just all around had a really good game. This guy did well. You know, 14
touchdowns has now tied with Curtis Martin for the most touchdowns by a running back in a regular season with the New England Patriots. Damian Harris, so GRD had this bet he showed me right before the game. It was to a player to score 3 touchdowns or more, and he took Damian Harris.
No.
He took him $50. It was plus 2,200, so he would have won like $1,000. He had 2 touchdowns right away.
Yeah.
They pulled him out of the game.
Of course they did.
They pulled him out of the game. And which is smart on the New England Patriots part to do it, because
100%.
He's had some hamstring issues.
No
and
need
it's
to.
a longevity. It's a long season. And you want to get him ready for Miami, because you didn't know at the time, next week, you didn't know if Miami was going to be going into the playoffs, what kind of game it's going to be. So they pulled him, and Stevenson went in there, the human bowling ball that he is, with 100 yards again, and another 2 scores for him. So it makes this tandem, this running back tandem, look so good and so juicy. Again, building confidence out of your running back core. It should build confidence for fans out there to be like, okay, they're starting to find it a little bit better. But again, it's all about what you do the next week, how you follow it up.
Well, before we go to the other side of the ball, let's talk about, there was this guy here who caught a few passes. You know, he's been with the team for 2 years. He's actually been on the practice squad. He really showed some pop during the training camp and preseason, but N'Keal Harry got burned. What'd you feel about his play?
Oh, Wilkerson has just somebody that has grinded it out all season. He's a individual that goes to 6-string quite a bit too. So
nice.
It was exciting for me and Michelle talking about it. I was like, oh, he just got his first career catch. Oh, he got his first NFL career touchdown. Oh, we got another one. So it was good to. But Wilkerson is taking an opportunity in making something out of it. You saw N'Keal Harry got a healthy scratch, and everyone's kind of up in arms. This guy comes in, scores 2 touchdowns. He's just taking advantage at the right time against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So slow your roll a little bit. I looked at this game, Cliff. I know you're going to talk about it in a second. I look at this game as a game where you can sit certain players and see what you have around you. This was treated as a pre-playoff game.
Right.
Like preseason, pre-playoff game. An example was your boy Matt Judon.
Can we talk about Matt Judon? Because for the past few weeks, I've been hearing, and you know, Patriot fans, I get it. You guys feel like these guys are like superheroes, which they are, yes and no. He played a couple snaps, then he stood there. Shout outs to the Drip, by the way, and I'm glad that they spoke about that. Post-game, had some great comments, played around with Mac Jones, made some comments about Mac Jones, really showed the camaraderie that they have within the team. But let me talk about Judon. One, he's not just there to just blitz. I've said this before. There's times that he'll drop back in coverage. But I think there is something that was lingering. I don't know what the ailment may be. And it didn't really help that he caught COVID. Really didn't. One thing I did notice when he was speaking is that he was breathing very heavily. With that being said, I really hope that he's just not sick, that he's getting over COVID. I don't know. What's your thoughts on him, man?
Well, the way I looked at Matt Judon is he had COVID at the beginning of the week. He was there. He came off the list. You're a little excited. You didn't need him this game. And this game is treated, again, preseason, pre-playoff type of game. You can have guys like Chase Winovich out there, maybe an Uche out there, guys that are going to get more reps to see. You know what you have in Judon.
Yep.
You know what you have. Okay, well, guess what? We're going to rest you this game. Maybe Miami, maybe doesn't get as many snaps out there, but make sure your ass is ready and healthy for the wild card weekend when we play.
When it matters.
So, again, like it's the same thing with N'Keal Harry. We know what we have in N'Keal Harry. All right, we're going to just bench you for this week. Wilkerson steps in. Let's see what Wilkerson's got. 2 touchdowns. Okay, maybe we can use him. Maybe we can use Wilkerson in the playoffs. Like, that's the way I looked at the Jaguars game to be treated, and I know that me and you were talking about it, and you were kind of worried and like, I don't know, he might be sick. There's something more to it. I say don't look into it. There's no point. Maybe he does have a little something he's getting over. That's fine. It was a great game to give others the opportunity to go out there and showcase what they have that hasn't had the opportunity this season to do.
Let me piggyback off of showcasing because Smith actually, our second tight end, who's not really a tight end, but plays as a tight end, he kind of came out a little bit. I feel watching him, I actually watched him. He caught the ball, and as he was about to run, he was a little unsure as to where to go with the blockers. I think he might be an X factor for the playoffs if they allow him. I think you might actually see him surprise a lot of teams that weren't prepared for him. That's one. One thing I did see with Wilkerson that I have never really seen with N'Keal Harry, which is his first touchdown. And again, the radio is going crazy. He's like, oh, how can he? He got an open touchdown. It was really hard, blown coverage. It actually wasn't a blown coverage. They faked a screen where he semi-chipped and released. If you go back, guys, wish we had the footage, it's a really great route that he ran, which is why he was so open. As soon as the cornerback was saying, he's blocking me, he immediately went in. Safety didn't. Maybe the safety could have provided more help, okay? Because I think it was one safety high, and he ran. But what I really liked about it was that your boy, Mac, he saw that. He audibled. First time he's seen him audibling something. That, to me, is what's important about this game. Not the 50 points, but the fact that he can read defenses in the NFL, react to it with his players, never mind starters, a guy that just came off the bench or practice squad, make an adjustment and score a touchdown. That right there, to me, is extremely telling. That got me extremely excited when we were watching the game. So that's pretty much that. But now, speaking of watching the game, let me segue. We got a little event, ladies and gentlemen, but there's a little thing called Omicron. I don't know. Do you watch Transformers at all? When you were a kid, were you into that?
I was not into Transformers, no.
Really?
No, I've seen it. I know what it is. I wasn't into that.
So this thing is different. It's different. You and I were speaking because you work, in a setting where you can see a lot of people, and the world is a little crazy right now. It's a little crazy. The Boston Power Hour crew will still have a watch party, but we wanted to have everyone, but to be professionals, to be safe about it, and not continue to participate in what other people are doing, which is not social distancing. We've decided we have to scale it back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get sad. I promise you we have another secret, another nice little surprise, actually, which actually might take place this year still. But we are still going to shoot. We are still going to reach out. And we're actually going to reach out to you guys to join us with your phones. Let's do that. Let's be safe. There's a lot of people out there that are dying, man. This stuff is real. I don't want to make the podcast like down, like a real downer, but this thing is real. Look at this little comic thing. It's funny. It all started with the COVID, regular COVID, transformed into Delta, and then you have this Omicron, or the Amarion, as my friends like to call it, right? It's serious. Like, everyone is getting it. And I know a lot of people are making it, but there's also a lot of people dying. I think in one day, we had 350,000 cases. Now, ladies and gentlemen, because we spoke about this and we got to talk about it.
We will.
Don't do dumb shit by lying. That has to stop. How do you feel about that?
So we're gonna already rant about this now.
Let's do it now, man. Just because
it is. So the way I look at Omicron is, yeah, it's real, and I've talked to people who have it, and they are getting the legitimate symptoms of, it's like it's hard to get up. It's hard. It just knocks you down. It really knocks you down. And if you have a weak immune system or some health reasons, or you're on the older side, it can really hurt you, and obviously cause death. We live in such a world of social media, and we live through our phones, that everyone feels invincible. And the younger generation doesn't give a shit about the older generation, says, go fuck yourself. I care about myself. And that's the type of world we live in. It's about you, about me. It's all about me, me, me. Speaking about me, 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 I look at this Omicron as people are taking advantage. And what I mean by that, people are not going to work, Cliff, because they're saying, some people have it and others are saying it's too overwhelmed. I don't want to go there, and I'm the only person working at CVS at the cash register. I think I'm just going to call out sick and say I have COVID and miss 5 days, because things keep changing the CDC, and it's hard to keep up with everything. You don't have to show your employer that you have a positive test. I'm positive for COVID. And then you don't have to show them that you have a negative test to come back. Okay, take your 5 days off. And I believe the state is paying up to 40 hours for you to miss work. And it reminds me back of the unemployment last year. People were staying or going on unemployment, and they were making more money on unemployment than they would at their actual job. And that was just such a fuck up. And that pissed me off, Cliff, last year, because, or in 2020, because this all mixes into like one big giant clusterfuck. But in 2020, when COVID was, here, right, in March, and it was April, March, it's 2020, and where I work, I had people who were on unemployment making more than me, and I was working overtime, and I was like, what the fuck? And it's just about taking advantage of a system, and a lot of people are doing that right now, and it's not right, because you know what's going to happen, Cliff? It's a trickle-down effect, just like you were saying off the air, because you decide to call out and not go to work, which is your choice, I guess. Now there's one less person there, which means that, it just trickles all the way down. You're a truck driver that wants to call out. I'm just going to call out because I don't want to do it. Means that shipment's not going to make it in time. And then something else happens off of it, and something else happens off of it. It's bad. There's people legitimately sick, but there's other people calling out because they're so burnt out that they don't want to go to work. There's other people just saying, whatever, I'm going to take a few days off and just going to go out and have fun. And we just had the holidays. You just had your Christmas vacation. You're going to New Year's, and all of a sudden no one wants to work. It's just one big absolute clusterfuck right now. And I don't know, man. Like, don't do that. Like, it's tough. Like, you just said it last week, like how burnt out you must feel.
Yeah. Mentally,
and it's exhausting, but it's kind of like you have to do your job. If you're able-bodied and you're not sick, go to work. Like, we need to keep the economy going. You need to keep the world spinning.
Yeah.
Because if everyone together just says, I don't want to go to work today, it's going to collapse. It's really going to collapse and trickle down into the point where everything's going to get backed up. We're going to get back into shortages. There's going to be these test kit shortages. There could be mask shortages again. And then you know what's going to happen? The public freaks out. Toilet paper shortage. There's going to be all the soda shortage, water shortage. There's going to be all these shortages that are going to happen because not everyone's going to work. And there's only one person that has to do 10 people's jobs. Right. And they're only going to be able to get maybe 2.5 people's jobs done in one night. And then everything just gets backed up.
Continuously
it's gonna be up. It could turn into a long winter. Yeah. I will say this. I've been eyeballing how things have been set up in Boston. And they're getting ready for the restrictions. Yeah. They're getting ready to go back into, you can only have 50% capacity. Yep. I've seen it. Like, it's just, and they're getting ready back to the social distance. And it's almost like, hey, you guys had time to prep for this. Yeah. You should have known, but I know we're such a reactionary society.
It's annoying, bro. Like,
such a selfish society.
That's the word. Very entitled and selfish.
And it bothers me more, because we'll get political, that, DeSantis down in Florida, let him do his thing. That's fine. He's the governor of Florida if he wants to do it his way. Because guess what? He's a politician that's going to run for office one day, that's going to run for president. And if everyone's going one way, he's going to go the other way. Because we're never going to always be on the same page, right? The only time we're going to be on the same page is when we're all mourning the loss of Betty White, which I want to talk about later on. That's the only time it's very few times where everyone could be on the same page.
Yeah.
DeSantis does have a point. All you people, you Democratic states, why are you going down to Florida for vacation while we're in the middle of this pandemic and we're trying to figure things out? And it makes a lot of people look ass backwards. We look fucking dumb in America. We look stupid all across the board, all around. Doesn't matter what state you're from. Yeah, everyone looks fucking dumb right now in the way that they're handling this. From the president of the United States, from all the Democratic and Republican states, how everyone's handling everything so much different. And it could have all been handled last year with the last president and how we set the tone. We didn't set the tone right away. And it was an absolute clusterfuck. And again, you want to talk about trickle-down effect. Boom. That's the true trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
And now we're just in some fucking cesspool, and no one knows how to fix it, and it's not going to be fixed the right way.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie.
We're living through it, and it's almost like we felt like we're going to get better, but then you're just in the eye of the storm, and now it's just going to be a shitstorm this winter. I was like, this is going to be and then guess what? You think it's going to go away? No, because guess what's going to happen? There's going to be another winter next year, and then another one. It's not going to go away. They want to get us booster shots every 6 months. It's not going to go away. Yeah. And we're always going to be fighting on this. There's always 10 sides to this whole Omicron. You're not going to get everyone on the same side. Yeah. Because guess what? You're going to be a person that says, I'm all about the vaccines. I'm all about masking up. I'm all about keeping safe. But how long can you do it for? Because you're mentally drained, Cliff. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And it's turning people on the other side. So it's so crazy.
Yeah, but we should have beat this already. Like it should have been
handled a lot better from the start, from the very, very start. And I will say this, and I'm not gonna, it's not political views in the sense of picking sides, but even if Donald Trump, because this is when it all first started, he was president. If Donald Trump did the right thing, people would still go against him because they hated him. Yep. So there was never a win to begin with. Because Trump could have set up something where it's like, we're going to do it this, and this is how we're going to handle it. Trump could have said the vaccines were fantastic and they're great when they first came out, and people wouldn't get it because he said it. Yeah. So it's just, that's the world we live in, unfortunately.
That is the world we live in.
There's going to be 50% this side, 50% that side, and boom, we're going to clash. Yeah. No matter who's in charge and what's running it, and you don't know what to believe anymore because you've been dragged in the last 2 years of dealing with this. You don't know who to believe, who to listen to. Everything's fake news. Yeah. And it's tough because you need answers for these questions.
Yeah. I've said this before. I can say, hey, I love oxygen. There's going to be people that say that they don't like oxygen.
They say the sky's blue, and people are going to argue why it's red. Yeah. You got people out there like Kyrie Irving who think the earth is flat. Like, it's just, that's what it is.
So since you're talking about Florida,
they're wide open.
What's happening down there? What are we going to do with these guys?
There's a game next week. The Miami Dolphins are officially eliminated from the playoffs. They got smoked against the Tennessee Titans. Whew. But I will say this about the Miami Dolphins. They're 8-8. They're going to be fighting to go over 500.
Yeah, they are.
Brian Flores is also trying to save his job. They're not going to can him.
You don't think he saved his job with the last few games?
Yes and no, because I think that the owner still wants Deshaun Watson, and that's still up in the air. Yeah. I mean, they lost the game they were supposed to win last week against Tennessee, and they got obliterated in that game. Yeah. They didn't look good in that game. I look at the Miami Dolphins. It's a division game. Lawrence Guy was saying it today on radio. This is a rival. They're going to play their hardest against us. Yep. You can't really ruin the Patriots season. They're in the playoffs, but you can change the seating up a little bit. The Patriots on the opposite side, you can't lose this game because you need the momentum going into the playoffs.
100%.
Don't forget, we said this before, 2019, right? You had a home game against Miami. Yep. They kind of derailed your momentum. They forced you into the wild card against Tennessee at home, and you lost. And just no one can get on the same page. And again, I'll use Lawrence Guy as an example again. He was asked, coming off this Jaguars game, are you guys celebrating a game like that? Are you celebrating not only 50 points, but are you celebrating that you guys clinched? And he goes, yeah, we do that in the locker room because it's a pat on the back. Hey, it's hard to get into the postseason. We did it, but we also know what we have in front of us, and that's next week. We still got to do our job.
Oh, yeah.
You win next week in Miami, you won 2 in a row now. The entire season prior to that does not matter. You guys won 2 NFL football games in a row. You got a little momentum behind you. You lose to Miami, guys might be a little bit at edge. If someone like J.C. Jackson does his job against Miami, maybe he might be pissed at Jalen Mills. He didn't do his job in Miami. You don't want that. You need everybody on that same page. Carry this momentum. The Miami Dolphins will play you tough, and I think I said maybe it's not a legitimate game, but it all depends on how Miami looks. I think it will be a legitimate game. They're trying to get over 500.
Yep.
This is what I like about the NFL now. You're not going to go 500 anymore. You want to go 9-8. That's what Miami wants to do. They want to finish their season on a high note. Tua wants to finish the season saying, we won 8 of our last 9 games. So does Brian Flores want to say that.
And that's what I was going to say, Flores too. Yeah. Yep. And he's a coach. He's a good coach, man. And I think we talked about it. I think from the coach tree, even though we agreed and we know that Vrabel was not coached, there's 2 good guys coming out of there, man. Flores and Mike Vrabel. So, and I think he has something to prove as well, that the first week wasn't just like a fluke or anything. And
even if Miami goes, you're trying to sweep the Patriots, and Miami wins this game, that's 2 straight seasons you went over 500. They went 10-6 last year, missed the playoffs. You go 9-8 this year, you missed the playoffs. Yeah, a little bit worse this year. But at the same time, you just won 8 out of your last 9 games. If that's the way you finish the season, that's a good look. And you go into free agency, and you go into having some draft picks or whatever it might be, and you look at it, and you can kind of say, hey, Miami's destination to play in.
It is. We
turned it around. We look good. Maybe they get some free agents down there.
I know we talked about Deshaun. Any chance that you have Mr. Green Bay go over there? Because he's leaving.
I don't know, but we're going to have a lot of talk about when the offseason comes, the quarterback changes. And it's going to happen quick.
Yeah, it is.
Because the season ends in February, Super Bowl Sunday.
You got to get it going.
Then in March, it's free agent signing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a quick turnaround. It's
going to be fun.
It is going to be fun to talk about.
It's going to be fun.
I know football talk are going to be dying within the next month and a half, but then it's just going to pick right back up pretty quickly. The NFL likes to dominate news like that, too.
Yeah, and I don't mind it.
No.
Let's talk about a little something that's just a little different, a little perturbed. Everyone has their opinion. There's a lot of memes out there. I'm just going to play the video, and you guys can tell me what you guys think about this. All right? Let me press the old play, and we are going.
Never seen something like that before. It's like WWE. So I had a lot of people yesterday when I was doing my Instagram live. It was super late last night, and I want to know your AB prediction. I want to know what you think about it. And there's more to the story than what we're being told.
Yeah.
I thought what it was interesting in that clip. I sent it to you earlier today, and I didn't really see it until it's blown up on the big screen. Mike Evans was trying to talk to Antonio Brown, and it's that last gasp of bro, come on, just calm down. I hear one side of the story saying he's trying to hit his incentives. Maybe he wasn't getting certain plays and routes that he wanted, but then all of a sudden his ankle's sore, and they told him to go into the game. And say if those both stories actually work out, Maybe AB was like, dude, I'm hurt. Like, I don't feel good. And then they said, yo, you fucking bitched and moaned that you wanted your incentives and now you don't want to go in there. You're a fucking moron. Like, something must have said to trigger him.
Yeah.
And AB likes to be the center of attention.
He does.
He likes to do something that's wild. He does that knowing there's cameras everywhere, knowing that everyone's looking at him. He does that, gets in his Uber. He drops a song last night.
Yeah.
He starts promoting his like new series or whatever movie, and he's promoting new fashion brands because everyone's talking about him.
Yep.
That's smart on his case to do that. Something that was completely overshadowed in this was Tom Brady in a way. And I'll say this. Tom Brady led the Tampa Bay Bucks down 24. I think it was 24-10.
Right.
Led them right back, and they won the game.
And they won the game.
And that happened, and then on that same drive, Brady throws a touchdown, and they got back into the game. Yeah, the Jets stink. I understand that, but you're down 14 points,
Right.
and you led the comeback.
Still professionals.
And I think that got way overshadowed. And I think Brady winning actually protects Antonio Brown in a little bit because in Brady's case, because if they lost and it was because of Antonio Brown, that would make it look worse. And I want you to play Brady's post-game press conference when he was asked about it.
Let's do it.
And I think we all want him to just I think everybody should find hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And we all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best. And, unfortunately it won't be with our team, but, we have a lot of friendships that will last. And again, I think the most important thing about football are the relationships with your friends and your teammates, and they go beyond the field. And, I think everyone should be very compassionate and empathetic toward, some very difficult things that are happening.
Brady has been one of the biggest Antonio Brown supporters for a long time. And when you go back to the Patriots and when Antonio Brown was on the New England Patriots, Belichick could only handle it for 11 days. Brady was pissed when they cut Antonio Brown at that time. But Brady felt that he could coddle him. He invited him to his home with Giselle. He tried to keep him on steer and clear. To the point where when Brady went down to Tampa, I'm sure those two were talking as much as possible and probably said to AB, clean your act up, we'll get you over here. And AB had his run and won a Super Bowl to the point where Antonio Brown had a nice catch in the Super Bowl as well, too. And don't forget, he's a Super Bowl champion because of Tom Brady. He'll load up for the next year. And I know that it got rocky this year with Antonio Brown because of the COVID situation, his vaccine card and all that. And there was points and there was cracks in this foundation of the Tampa Bay Bucks where the organization, probably the GMs, the coaching staff, wanted him out. Yep. It's a headache. It's a circus. But Brady's your golden boy, and he protects him at all costs. So I think when hearing Brady, he sounded disappointed. He sounded like a disappointed dad. He knows what he has with Antonio Brown. He also knows that Antonio needs to be protected in a certain way. And I'm sure that Brady felt a little embarrassed as well, too. There's a narrative, Cliff, out there that Belichick was right and Brady was wrong.
Right.
Brady was right because Brady won a Super Bowl with Antonio Brown. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Brady was right. And that means Brady was right in 2019 because the organization had to deal with Antonio Brown, the Tampa Bay Bucks, last year, and they won a championship because of it.
Yep.
And how many times has the Patriots tried to protect their image or protect a player, and they've done it so many times? I think that it almost shows to me, Cliff, that Belichick really wanted Brady out.
Yeah.
Because they could have worked around Antonio Brown in 2019, that team.
Yeah,
and I bet that they would have won with him.
Yeah.
I bet that offense would have at least held their own enough that the defense still did their thing all season. They would have did enough to win those extra games that they needed to win to be in that bye week at the time. There's more to it. And I'll say this too about Antonio Brown. He's not getting cut. Bruce Arians said it's over, right? Brady sounded it like, yeah, it's over. It's he's gone. Pull up the Bucks transaction wire.
He still hasn't.
He still is on the roster.
Yeah.
They still have never officially put the papers in. And I will say this about Antonio Brown. His career's not done in the NFL. He's not going on some exempt list. He walked out on his employer. That's what he did. He made a mockery of the Tampa Bay Bucks by walking out on them. Right now, if I walked out on you right now on this show, you'd be like, I'm done with Babs. I'm never doing Boston Power Hour with them. That's so unprofessional. But if you knew that I had some sort of talent and special talent, you might be like, I'll look the other way on this one.
Right.
God, he embarrassed me, but I'll look the other way. The way I look at Antonio Brown for the Tampa Bay Bucks is if you cut him, another team's going to pick him up.
100%.
If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're the Tennessee Titans, if you're the LA Rams, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, that's 4 playoff teams right there. They're all calling Antonio Brown, hey, we just need you for a couple weeks. Here's a couple mil. Just come here, shut up, just do your job.
Right.
Catch a couple balls.
And go.
Dude, LA Rams, they deal with the Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
And they have their defense. They got Von Miller in there and all that. You look at the Dallas Cowboys, come on, Jerry Jones.
Right.
Like, he don't give a shit, dude. He'll take anybody.
He doesn't.
You look on the flip side, Kansas City, they have more problems with Jackson Mahomes than they will with Antonio Brown. They got Josh Gordon over there. And how many times has Josh Gordon got the opportunities? And Tennessee Titans, they're going to be getting the bye most likely. They've had the Julio Jones just got activated. He's going to probably play this upcoming week. But between Julio and A.J. Brown and then Antonio Brown with that team, and they're going to get Derrick Henry back, that's a lethal combination. Antonio Brown would probably shut his mouth to just ride for another championship.
Yep.
He hasn't done anything that's detrimental for him to not play in the NFL. I think people are dumb to think he's done. His career's over. Antonio Brown, we know his talent. It's a generational talent. You know the baggage that comes with it, but teams will absolutely take the risk to have that back.
It's the same thing.
It's sad that he could not last a full season. Well, it sucks to see that as a player like that.
Well, that's the thing, right? As a fan, right? Because it is what we're thinking. We're like, wow, imagine if. It's just like Rodgers and Driver over there, like that combo. Imagine that happening all season, right? Brady, Brown, all season, him calming down, him loving the game, him saying, hey, I'm fully focused, I'm fully invested in just having to, play the game of football. But you're right. Talent is going to afford him another opportunity. Talent is going to have teams saying, hey, we'll take you. We'll deal with the baggage. You didn't do that to us. He won them a Super Bowl. He played a really important position last year. You can't say that it wasn't. So that's why, but what sucks about this whole situation is this. We know the talent. We know something's off. We know that he knows that he's such a talent and that he can do so many things, that he's been completely empowered to do all of these things. But I truly think that there might be something just off with him. And I don't know if the NFL teams are willing to make him become accountable for these actions because of his skill set. Because at the end of the day, you said it earlier, it's all about winning a championship, right?
And AB, I was just trying to call Antonio Brown.
I
talked to him from time to time. It's actually crazy. A couple of years ago when it was 2019, when they cut him, there was something where I sent him a video is when they lost the Houston Texans. And it was around Christmas time. I sent him a video, and he actually looked at it. He looks at his DMs and stuff sometimes.
Really?
And he posted it, and he tagged me. I gained like 1,000 followers because of that. It was crazy. And then sometimes I chat with him once in a while, just small stuff, nothing crazy. I was just trying to call him, just like get him on the show or something.
That'd be amazing.
But we have no service down here. We don't have service down here.
The Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi didn't work with it, just as it failed. It didn't go through. Didn't go through.
Wait a minute.
He won't answer it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I look at Antonio Brown as this. He knows he's a generational talent. He knows NFL teams won't do anything. He knows the people are going to still support him. He knows that. And I think him knowing that, he knows he can get away with being kind of an ass clown to his team. But people are talking about it, and he's getting recognition. I say this. I'm going to make a hot take. Hot take right now.
Here we go.
Antonio Brown will be playing. No, scratch that. The hot take is this. Antonio Brown will be at Super Bowl weekend in LA, either A, playing in the Super Bowl this year, or B, fighting Jake Paul in a boxing match on Saturday night. It's one or the other. And that's how extreme Antonio Brown is. It's either you're going to be in the Super Bowl or you're fighting Jake Paul. It's one or the other.
One or the other, baby.
Antonio Brown.
Listen, man, I just hope that the guy is okay mentally, because it was just crazy. He just took his gear off and just says, I'm out of here. And was like, literally says, I want no part of this. Take that, get me out of here.
But there was things that came out about Pittsburgh, and, he wanted out of there. And then you started seeing Pittsburgh sort of implode inside, and people are starting to say maybe Antonio Brown was a little bit right about Pittsburgh and some of the things that were going on there. You know who we call crazy? Kanye West. But Kanye West is like legitimately the Mozart of this generation when it comes to music, right? But does he have a few loose screws up there? Absolutely. But sometimes we bypass that with a guy like Kanye because of what he produces and what he puts out there for his fans, because he uses his craziness to market himself.
Right.
That's what Antonio Brown's pretty much doing too. He's just the crazy Kanye of the NFL.
Yes, I'll buy that.
I'm putting them as the comparison. They're the same. They're like the same guy.
I'll buy that.
For sports.
I'll buy that. All right, so let's talk about what's going on, man. Listen, we've been riding the wave. It's getting a little rocky. Because
Did I buy you back into the wave? Because last week at the start of the show, you said, I don't know if I'm on the wave anymore. I don't know if I believe on it. Do you believe it a little bit now?
I'm back. I'm back into both. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Shit, I'm allowed to do that, damn it. We're human. But listen, I'm back, but it's a little rocky because remember how we were in first place? Man. All right, let's move on. Take me through this. Like, there's a lot of things going on here.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So Tennessee Titans, out of all teams, right now are currently the 1 seed. They got that 1 seed back. They might get Julio Jones back. They might get Derrick Henry coming back. Ugh. And the Tennessee Titans, I believe, have the Houston Texans coming up this week. So that Tennessee Titans, all they got to do is win. You secure the 1 seed. Flip over to the 2 seed. Kansas City, as of right now, it has the Chargers in there, and this came from Pro Football Focus. It comes to a win and get in for the 7 seed. Sunday Night Football, Dan Jolly's Las Vegas Raiders versus Bolt God's LA Chargers. We'll talk about that in a little bit in the bet segment. Win and get in for that. Going into Kansas City. Kansas City this week, they have Denver. So, again, it should be a tune-up game for Kansas City, but it's going to be wild. There will be an upset somewhere this week. Things can really drastically change. But the team that's in the 3 seed, the Cincinnati Bengals, what a win for them against Kansas City. That is I was saying last week, Kansas City -5, take it. It went down to 3.5. I was like, take it, smash it. And Kansas City looked good. I think they were up 14 points in that game. And Bengals came right back. They clawed back. Here is my take about the Bengals this upcoming week.
Okay.
They have the division secured. No matter what, the worst they can finish is the 4 seed.
Right.
So will the Cincinnati Bengals sit Joe Burrow? Will the Cincinnati Bengals play half-assed to rest their stars? Will they play the first half, sit the second half? If the Bengals lose to the Browns, which the Browns just lost tonight to Pittsburgh, their season's over anyways.
Right.
Pittsburgh's season's still alive, by the way. They need a bunch of things a couple things to happen. I think they need the Colts to lose to Jacksonville. And then if the Colts lose to Jacksonville, which, by the way, Trevor Lawrence said post-game against the Patriots, we have 1 game left. I need to prove something. So
I got to laugh at that.
But at the same time, these teams like the Houston Texans or the Denver Broncos or the Cleveland Browns or the Jacksonville Jaguars, those 4 they're out of the team they're out of it. They're all going to try. They're all going to try their best effort. No one's trying to tank. They want to leave the season on a high note.
On a high note. Okay, I can see that.
So that's the way I look at it that way. But pull that back up, that graphic, real quick, because we're going to look at the matchup that is set right now. Pretty much 50% chance this happens. What happened to my graphic? There it is. There's a 50% chance that this game happens. The New England Patriots go up to Buffalo. Round 3, baby.
Woo.
And let me talk about
sounds
this
like
game.
a Rocky fight or something.
It sounds like a Rocky fight, right? But let me talk about this game, Cliff. Okay. I want the Buffalo Bills.
I do too.
I want them right away. Some said maybe the division. No. I want them right away.
Yeah.
I want to face them. Let them have the AFC East because it would feel so great for Mac Jones and company. Mac Jones' first playoff game ever, and some of these other players, their first playoff game ever, to go up into Buffalo, a place you already won this year. I know weather conditions were there. To go up to Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills, bang, with your Mac 10. Boom, boom, boom.
Woo, Jesus.
To go up to Buffalo, beat the Buffalo Bills, and say, have your AFC East, we beat you in your own house.
Keep that shit.
But let me go on the flip side here, Cliff.
Okay.
And everybody at home watching, let me say this. If you're the New England Patriots and you go up to Buffalo and you lose to the Buffalo Bills wild card weekend, that's not good. Now, the Bills have been 4-1 in the last 5 against the Patriots. Not only did they beat you and send you home, they've won the AFC East back-to-back years. That's a lot of ammo right there for the Buffalo Bills. And I'll say this, and I'll admit it. The Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots, and they are the AFC East champs. They beat you in the playoffs. They do own you. They currently own you in the post-Tom Brady era.
Yeah, well, let's look at where we're at right here.
So
numbers don't lie.
I know a lot of these guys are out. Denver, Cleveland, Baltimore, Miami, Pittsburgh had one tonight, so they're 8-7. So they have a shot. All they need is the Colts to lose to the Jaguars next week. They have to beat the Ravens. That's how Pittsburgh can get in.
Okay.
The LA Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders, they're playing Sunday night, win and get in. Now, Cliff, there is a possibility the Patriots could be the 1 seed. They could be the 1 seed.
A lot of help, though. A lot of losses.
They would need the Tennessee Titans to lose. You need Kansas City to lose.
Yeah.
You need Cincinnati to lose. You need Buffalo to lose. You pretty much need the top 4 to lose.
Yeah.
And you win and get in. I will say this, and I kind of was talking about it a little bit here. So right now you see this. You have New England there. You got Buffalo there. They're the 4 and the 5 play each other. If Cincinnati decides to rest their players, right? Joe Burrow was hurt at the end of the game. Maybe they want to rest Joe Burrow. Maybe they want to rest Chase. Maybe they want to rest Mixon. To them, they're hosting a wild card game no matter what. Does the Cincinnati Bengals, do they want to play the Colts? Do they want to play the Chargers? Do they want to play the Raiders? So it depends on how they feel.
How they feel, yeah.
Baker Mayfield can't afford to lose that last game of the year either. So the way I look at it is this way. I think we might see a possibility where Cincinnati somewhat throws the game, but it's more resting your players. Cincinnati would then drop down to the 4 seed. Buffalo beats the Jets. Patriots beat the Miami Dolphins. Patriots go into Cincinnati for that wild card matchup. And I want to kind of semi-preview that in my mind.
Okay.
Because you have a legitimate shot to beat Cincinnati. But I'll say this.
They make me nervous.
Mr. INT, J.C. Jackson, you want to prove that you're worth some money? You got to cover Jamar Chase.
That's a big deal.
But not only do they have Jamar Chase, Cliff, not only do they have Jamar Chase, they got T. Higgins. Yeah. They got Tyler Boyd. They got 1,000-yard receivers on that team.
Yeah.
Joey B has legitimate team around him. And I said this last week, Mac Jones versus Joe Burrow could be the new Brady Manning light 2.0. Like, it's not going to be Brady Manning, but you could see that down the line. The Cincinnati Bengals look like they have a legitimate squad around them, and I think that you have a shot to go into Cincinnati. But, man, that would be a great statement for the Bengals to take care of business against the New England Patriots. And that loss, if you go into Cincinnati, New England Patriots, you lose to Cincinnati, it wouldn't hurt as much as going into Buffalo and losing that game, too.
I don't want to go to Cincy. I don't want to go to Cincy.
So where do you want to go?
Let's go Buffalo. I need the Buffalo game.
Fun. It will be fun.
I need the Buffalo game.
Atmosphere will be insane.
I need the Buffalo game. You know what? Buffalo game with a little bit of shitty weathers, and I want to see Mac Jones throw the ball. Then that proves. Then that shuts me up from their first game. It tells the Buffalo Bills, hello again. You know where you belong. Let's go do what we got to do.
But again, it's a coin flip situation where the Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots. They have so much shit to talk against you.
This is true.
All off season. The Bills could lose the next week, doesn't matter. They beat the New England Patriots. They're 4-1 against you in the last 5 games. They beat you twice in the same season when you played 3 games.
Okay.
They beat you in Buffalo. It actually, and here's a crazy thing. Maybe it was a good thing I didn't go to Buffalo, because I'll go to Buffalo. I'll get up there. I'll get up there for that game. I'll figure it out. But that atmosphere, if you're there as a Patriots fan, the post game, win or lose, Good luck getting out of there.
Yeah, that's a
Be
fact.
careful.
That's a fact.
Because they lose, they're coming for
They're
blood.
coming for people. Yeah, that's
They
true.
win, they're going to be in your face letting you know that they won. So
you
just
said
be
something.
careful of
You
that.
said something interesting too.
Sometimes
If the Patriots lose, does that mean, we're not really sure on our quarterback situation? I don't want to go there. It's too early. It's too early. We'll save that, but just put that in your mind. Let it simmer.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones, congratulations. He threw 21 touchdowns this year. You've seen some progression. He hasn't beat a legitimate team yet.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. Jacksonville, you're doing what you got to do against these teams. Jared Stidham could have threw 3 touchdowns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sorry. Jared Stidham is going to compete against Mac Jones next year. Sorry. Like he's here. There's a reason why he's stuck around. I don't get why people don't get that. It's healthy competition because you need to see the progression of Mac Jones. I support the quarterback. I didn't care if it was Cam Newton. I don't care if it's Mac Jones.
We want our team.
If you suck, I'm going to call you out, and that's what I did with Cam Newton. If you sucked and you suck, where's Cam Newton doing now? He tried to go to Carolina. It didn't work out. He sucks.
Yeah.
And you call it out. You support it, though. Same thing with Mac Jones. We're calling him out when he just hasn't won that big game yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it. Can Buffalo, or if they go to Cincinnati, show me wrong, prove me wrong. Do it. But it will creep in, especially, you hate those media heads, but that's all they're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it here and there. You want to see the progression of your quarterback. Belichick wants to win now. He wants to win in the short term.
Yep.
You can't wait 7 years for Mac Jones to develop.
Nope.
Belichick, you don't know what his life's going to be like in 7 years.
That's right.
He needs to win now, and he's going to pick the best quarterback to lead the New England Patriots. In this upcoming offseason, and this is a scenario, guys.
That's it.
You beat the Miami Dolphins, but you lose to whatever in the first round. The quarterback market's going to be interesting in the offseason.
Yes, it is.
But again, who runs the team? Robert Kraft, and he's going to make sure that the golden boy, Mac Jones, stays there. So it's going to be an interesting offseason.
Let me ask you.
I don't think we can have a quarterback competition in the way that you're thinking and I'm thinking until it's year 2, and then next year he doesn't progress. You don't see any progression out of him. That's when we'll probably get into that.
Yes or no? Yes or no question? Yes or no? Just want to hear from you. Okay, maybe he's okay too. Camp. Mac Jones doesn't. We lose. We go to Buffalo. Mac Jones loses. Doesn't beat a quote-unquote good team during camp. Is there going to be an opportunity for Stidham to play?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Wanted to hear that. That's 100%. All. Let's go to the other side.
Yeah, so we talked last week. We don't talk about the NFC. I wanted to bring up the NFC because it's pretty much set up. So you're going to end up having, I think San Francisco is the only team that hasn't clinched yet. You have the New Orleans Saints. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons. I believe that got flexed to Saturday. So I think it's the Saturday night game possibly. Kansas City and Denver is the 4 o'clock game. So you're going to have that game going on. San Francisco wins, they get in. I just think it was interesting to see, Green Bay, the fact that they lost the first game of the season, I believe, to the Saints, and you're like, oh, is this going to be a long season for Aaron Rodgers?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers put on a clinic. He looks like he's going to be the MVP of the league this year. I believe they have that 1 seed locked up, but they're playing the Lions this upcoming week.
Yeah.
It could be a half-ass game by Aaron Rodgers. Go in there. Lions have given Green Bay some trouble in the past. We've seen it. They have the 1 seed pretty much locked up, and I know that Rodgers might want to ball out in that last game to make sure he secures the MVP. Congratulations to Tom Brady, another 12-win season.
Yep.
Last year I believe they went 11-5. He got 12 wins notched under his belt. He won the South Division, so he did that a couple weeks ago. They're still playing for seeding purposes as well too. Does Brady want to go into Green Bay? In the divisional round. Does he want to try to jump the Rams so they can save that and try to get 2 home games? Winning this upcoming week is important if you want to have 2 home games.
Especially not having Antonio.
And Tampa Bay has Carolina this week, so it should be a game that they should win. The Rams have, I believe, San Francisco this week, and San Francisco needs to win to get in, so that's going to be an interesting one as well too. But yeah, things are shaping out. That's awesome. That they have a powerhouse type of. In the AFC, it's open season. Anybody can make it. The 7th seed could go to the Super Bowl. this is like, it's your top 4 teams.
Yep.
Green Bay, LA Rams, Tampa Bay, Dallas.
Tampa Bay, Dallas. Yep.
Those other 3 teams, Arizona had a little good run this year. They're out of it. San Francisco, you're out of it. Philly, you're out of it. They should get mopped. Those are your 4 powerhouse teams, but those 2 divisional games and the NFC title game is going to be fun to watch as a football fan.
Yeah, I think football is awesome. This is showing you how awesome it is. Anything can happen. I'm excited. I'm here for it. Let's make some money, though. You want to try to help the people make some money?
I think all my bets lost last week.
That's all right. All right.
Well, I said Jacksonville plus 16 and that they got blown out by 40.
Yeah.
The Atlanta one was right. The Atlanta Falcons had a shot.
You know what?
They had a shot. They were up 15-14 at halftime, and they were driving down the field, and they had a chance to score, and they fucked up, and they ended up only losing by 14. So if you had 14 and a half, it would have worked out. New England at Miami. I'm taking New England minus 5.5. They got to roll this game. You can't lose this game. You can't afford to be cute this game, Cliff. You got to go in there and take care of business soundly. I would like to see them win by 20 points against the Miami Dolphins. And another game, too, in this sense, do not give up. Play all 4 quarters, play through the whistle, and run up the score again if you have the chance to do it against the Miami Dolphins.
Bring the guns out, baby.
The MAC-10 loaded today.
That's what I'm talking about.
Kansas City at Denver. This is going to be your 4:25 game on Saturday. I like Denver plus 10.5. I just think that Kansas City's weird. They could just go in there and absolutely smoke and be fine. They're fighting for the 1 seed.
I hate them. They're such a front-running team.
But Denver Broncos got something to play for. I mean, I look at that team as,
Teddy's out, right?
Teddy is out. Yeah. Locke might be trying to play because Teddy's a free agent.
Yep.
Locke might be trying to play for a starting job or just to be looked at another team. So, I mean, this is, again, you guys, week 18, the last week of the season is important for bubble players as well, too, that want to make the roster the next year.
That's right.
That are upcoming free agents that are trying to showcase their talents to make a few extra bucks in the offseason as well, too. So I don't sleep on Denver for that game. I like Jacksonville plus 15.5. I feel this is such a trap line, Indy minus 15.5, right?
Yeah.
Because I take Trevor Lawrence's words for real. You laughed at it and you scoffed at it.
I did.
But I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, holy shit, went through some turmoil this season.
Yeah.
But I think that it would be beneficial for Trevor Lawrence because they don't need to tank this game. They have their quarterback of the future. It's Trevor Lawrence. This is a game where I think Lawrence shows up, balls out a little bit, and I think they could pull off the victory. I think they can make an upset. And it goes into this. Maybe there's a chance that Pittsburgh goes into the playoffs, right? Indianapolis would have to lose.
Yep.
And I think that would be a moral victory for Trevor Lawrence to say, we eliminated the Indianapolis Colts who are in our division. We eliminated them in the playoffs. It's a very, very small chance, but I do like it.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe they'll make it up because he was embarrassed. We embarrassed him.
Yeah. But I mean, he's still. I saw a video of Trevor Lawrence afterwards, and he was in smiles. They're on the plane. They're kind of joking around. End of the day, they're professionals getting paid.
Yeah,
so
bingo.
it is what it is.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Dan Jolly Las Vegas Raiders.
These guys.
My little closet team. I have a little. Listen, they beat the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. That's a team that beats good teams.
I think so, too.
They went through their own turmoil with the Henry Ruggs, John Gruden. They are going through all the situations on the team. They just had a guy, Hobbs, that just had a DUI today. So they're going through so much stupid shit on that team. But Derek Carr's fighting. Darren Waller, who's been out the last couple of weeks, their tight end, is going to play Sunday night.
Good tight end.
I look at Derek Carr in this game as this. Derek Carr has been a kind of, fiddling around. Like, you'll see his name, top 5 for passing yards or, touchdown to interception ratio. He's like a top 5 quarterback in that. He's just not a winner. Like, he hasn't won a playoff game. And I think that, and he's won some pretty good games in some big games and big moments. They've looked bad in some primetime games, like the Kansas City game earlier this season. Derek Carr, also, don't forget, was a front-runner MVP back in 2016.
Right.
When Matt Ryan, I think Matt Ryan won it that year.
Yep.
And then Derek Carr got hurt at the end of the year. He broke his leg. So Carr's always been just kind of fiddling around there. You're at home. They're underdogs at home, which is crazy. but you're underdogs at home. You win this game. You get into the playoffs. The Vegas Raiders, say they play Kansas City.
They're legit.
They have a shot. They have a shot to go on a run.
Yeah.
I really do believe that in the Raiders.
I think
Don't sleep on them.
I think they're a legit team just because, you know what, especially with the tight end coming back.
And we talked about this. The NFC, it's your 4 guys. It's your 4 teams. You know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
AFC is wide open. Anyone can take it. And all it takes is Las Vegas to beat the Colts, and they have to beat the Chargers. Two good teams there, and then just go on a run. And it could happen. They could go to the AFC title game for all we know.
We never know. That's why we love football.
Jets at Buffalo. Jets. So Robert Saleh, the head coach, is playing to showcase, hey, this is a division game. I think 16.5 is a lot of points still. Buffalo didn't cover it against Atlanta.
Nope.
The Jets held their own against Tampa. Tampa's a legitimate team. So I think that it's a moral victory for them to put their heads up high and be like, hey, we held tough against Tampa. They should hold tough against Buffalo. I like the Jets plus 16.5. And if you're a Patriots fan, you got to root for the Jets. Mm-hmm. You need the Jets to win. It's a 425 game now.
Yuck.
It's going to be crazy. We're going to be watching both the Patriots and you're going to be keeping an eye on this game as well, too. Patriots still have a chance to host a wild card game next week at Gillette Stadium. 2 weeks from now.
Jet. Won't finish that. All right, let's talk about the green team, man. What's been going on over there? Did you watch any of the games? Like I sometimes
you were at one of them.
I was. We'll talk about that in a few, but let's just talk about yesterday because it looks like 2 Boston teams put a 50 boiga. What kind of boiga would you prefer? I know you like Big Macs, but
shout out to Jay the Pats fan for this little meme, sent it to me, scoring 50 points, Patriots and Jaylen Brown. And we are a pro Jaylen Brown podcast,
we are.
Videocast.
We are.
That's what we are. We've always been so high about Jaylen Brown.
He just likes the ball, man.
He willpowered that team against the Orlando Magic. Celtics were losing most of that
14
game.
14 points, fourth quarter.
And he just willpowers that team to go to overtime. The Celtics hold it together, scores 50, gets the victory. Jaylen Brown's your guy.
I like Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown is your guy.
I'm a fan.
The Celtics also beat the Suns on New Year's Eve day. I believe it was New Year's Eve day on that Friday. I'll say this. I don't think it was a legitimate win. Devin Booker was... Yeah, because look at the Phoenix. They played at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 10 a.m. for the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns played Wednesday. So Thursday was their travel day. And then they have to play like at 10 a.m. Friday morning. So Devin Booker had a very, very off day that day. And the team had an off day. So you got the Suns at the right time. And it's, again, one of those booster games where it's like, hey, we beat a legitimate team. Like, I look back on it, but that's not a legitimate win. You want a legitimate win, you beat the New York Knicks on Thursday.
We'll see.
You beat the Knicks on Thursday on the road in New York. That's more of a legitimate win than the Suns at like a 10 a.m. type of game for them.
There's a lot of players so it was my son and I, we went to the game. There's a lot of unknown players on this team, man.
Yeah.
When you compare the Celtics to other basketball teams, they have no bench. They have a total of like 4 good players, and I'm stretching saying good players. We know Jaylen Brown. We know Tatum. Al Horford is a shell of himself. Can't hit a 3. Don't know what's going on, but he still plays a role.
What did they do? What did it for threes? It was like 4 for like 40 something.
It was disgusting.
9% from 3.
No one on that team drives. They need. You know what the thing is? Trade everyone except Tatum and Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard. No, Marcus got to go.
You got to keep Marcus.
It was coming out. No. They need a Lillard. They need someone that just drives to the hoop, that kicks it out to these guys that can shoot.
Cliff, I'm going to ask you the $1 million question.
Yeah.
What are the Boston Celtics playing for right now?
Nothing.
So what should the Boston Celtics do?
I can't say it. I know what you want me to say.
You got to say
that
it.
word. Tank.
Simple. Ugh. You don't have to make the move this season now to go get that star player. But I say in the NBA is a tanking league.
Ugh.
Like, tanking in the NFL doesn't work because it's 53 guys on a roster. There's only like 15 guys on the roster for the NBA. And tanking works because guess what? You have Tatum. You have Jaylen Brown. Those are your guys. Tank. Get a high pick. doesn't mean you're using that high pick on a future guy. That means you're taking that pick and trading it somewhere.
Right.
I want a Karl Anthony Towns on the Boston Celtics.
I would love that.
But I would want the Celtics team, trade your assets away. Hey, Jalen. Hey, Jason. Take the season off. Play a couple games, mix in. Just have some fun playing basketball. COVID's kind of, COVID's kind of, hitting us a little hard. Enjoy some family time. Let's hit the reset button. We're going to get you a stud in the offseason. We're going to take that. There's a point, if you look at Tankathon right now, there was a point probably pre-Suns game, I looked at it. They were 2 games away from having like the 5th overall pick. Like, that's how close they are in towards the tanking aspect of it.
So just do it.
But that 5th, or say they get the 5th overall pick, they could take that and trade it somewhere and get an asset for it
to come in
and take a contract on.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at the Boston Celtics.
I would only do that if they were guaranteed to actually not rent. I'm sick of renting people, right? And it would have to be a legitimate big.
Yeah, you need to own a contract for like 4 years, 5 years. You need someone here.
A commitment, man.
But I said this to Ian Angelo, who runs a TikTok account, does the Celtics stuff. Awesome. We talked about it last night. I said, the Boston Celtics fan base is like the Dallas Cowboys. They like to live in the past. We still bring up 2008 championship.
Yeah, we do.
And that was like 12 years ago.
Yeah. Anything's possible, okay?
Even his newer generation in the 20-year-olds talk about 2008.
Yeah.
And they were like 10 at the time, or probably 8 at the time when they won. So that's the way I look at it. And if you sell out, just sell out your team, go get that big, get a big 3 that works, like a legitimate stud guy with Tatum and Brown, and just win a championship. And you don't have to do anything again for like 12 years. You're fine.
And
People will live
again.
on it. People are gonna live on that. So it's just, and they bring up a good point with the Brooklyn Nets trade when you got all those picks for Paul Pierce originally, and how it all trickles in together. They're taking a L right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it ever worked out for them.
Yeah.
The NBA is you tank, you build up your assets, whether you trade it, which they did in 2007 and 2008, and you traded. That's how you got your Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, and that's how you won your championship just like that. Or you tank for a couple of seasons, you get those, hopefully you hit right on the draft, and you develop those players, 2 or 3 of them, and they become something in the league. Golden State Warriors.
I'm so happy that the NFL is not like this. Imagine.
Yeah.
We would just be this. You know what's great? This is why we're so spoiled, ladies and gentlemen. There are other cities that's all they do. We win championship. Even though the Bruins, they got to get their act together too.
They've been looking good since their post-COVID break.
Yeah,
they beat Buffalo. They won 5-1.
Yeah.
The Boston 3-party bet was the way to go on Sunday. All 3 Boston teams won.
It's too early. Too early.
Yeah, we'll talk about them when the playoffs come around, if they even come around. That's the only time they ever get love from us.
Since we were talking about a lot of trash, there's just a lot of trash, and I hate saying it, but it is what it is. Did you see what's going on out there? We were talking about the NFC because I told you it's an overrated division, and how a trash team made the playoffs. And this trash team also has a trash stadium. People probably have no idea what I'm talking about. You were nice enough to share it with me, and I want to share it with the people. You want to share it? You want to do that now?
Show it. It was awesome.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did the cameraman try to kick someone? Hold on. I gotta pull that back.
Play that.
What?
So play it back even more. Go back more. Okay, so slow it down a little bit. All right, so when that falls, look where he's positioned. He almost got hurt. He almost got hurt. He was probably pissed.
Oh, man.
Look at those. Look at them crashing down. He's probably pissed.
Yeah.
It's just like instinct. You just got to kick.
Yeah. Hey, oh, you know what it is? His camera's broken.
Ooh.
Okay.
And those you talk about that.
I'm a nerd. So, yeah, that's a wrap. Yeah, that lens is gone.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
Well, hopefully he has insurance.
Look at Jalen Hurts. He didn't run away.
Yeah. Okay, so look at the camera that he's holding.
Yeah.
Let's see which one it is. Hold on. And yeah, that's broken. That's gone. Oh, both of them.
And he's got no insurance for that or anything
Oh,
like that.
my God.
That's out of his own pocket.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry, but dear owners, I'm putting a claim on your ass. I'm putting a claim on you.
Well, you already said they're a trash team, trash stadium with the trash owner, Dan Snyder. And this wasn't the only time this season that there's been issues with the.
Do we want to show the other trash?
Yeah, so I was looking it up because I've seen the one incident with the scissors.
Do you want to show that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So this is Taylor Heineke. He's just walking off the field. Finds a pair of scissors.
How do you
medical scissors?
How does that happen?
Just coming off. This was only a couple weeks ago. We got decimated by the Dallas Cowboys.
How does that happen?
And then earlier this season, I think I just sent a still photo, but it was the water leak that happened in like October or something, and it was just one of the pipes burst there at the stadium.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't bring it up. The resolution was bad. But I see what you mean. That was terrible. It's like a big thing of water just going down.
The Patriots played out in Washington in 2019. I didn't get to go to that game, but a lot of people said the stadium is a complete dump. The problem is that the owner, there it is, yeah. I know the resolution's not great, but the owner doesn't want to spend money. Like, they don't want to spend money, and Dan Snyder already is going through that investigation right now.
Yeah.
I just don't get why the NFL doesn't take over that franchise. And the problem that I see is the Washington Nationals got a brand new ballpark. They're in D.C., and they won a World Series. You figure in the District of Columbia,
right,
that you would want the Washington Redskins to kind of, be brought up to another level, or these lawmakers and politicians who can push money around pretty easy, maybe build a high-class stadium in the heart of D.C. somewhere, where there's so much tourism that would generate money and jobs to that stadium, where they can hold big rallies and events, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you had a big dome, they should have a dome type of arena. I just think that they have the worst owner, and he doesn't want to give up, and he doesn't want to give up his seat at the table. So
I think they're trying to get him out.
They're trying to get him out, and they're trying to catch him on something, but they just haven't done yet. And I think Dan Snyder might have dirt on the NFL.
NFL, yeah.
And John Gruden just got in the middle of the crossfire, but they all have dirt on each other.
Right.
Everyone's pointing the gun at each other's heads.
Maybe that's why they're not giving them the money for the new stadium. They're like, let's just keep it cruddy, let it fall apart.
You have a situation like that, and it's embarrassing.
It is
maybe
embarrassing.
It's more embarrassing that the NFL's like, yeah, look at how shitty that stadium is. Like, maybe they should do something. But
hopefully no one got hurt.
If you're a player, why do you want to go play for Washington?
Good point.
Why do you want to play for something like that? Yeah. So it's tough. I know you want to get an opportunity in the NFL. If you're like a Chase Young now, you might be like, I'm embarrassed to play here.
Yeah,
Chase,
what is going on for you?
Like, I would just want to go somewhere else. I mean, it's a good opportunity to get your feet wet. It's an NFL team, but they're never going to pick themselves back up.
It's unreal.
Another thing too is Jerry Jones is in your division, and he's going to make sure that you stay down, because he needs to make sure his Cowboys have the best chance possible. It is embarrassing that they won 7-9 and they went to the playoffs, right? And they hosted that game against the Tampa Bay Bucks last year. But the Dallas Cowboys look at it like, we just need, if we can have any sort of competitive advantage in our division, I'm going to make sure it happens.
We're going to take it. Just
like I'm sure Robert Kraft with the New York Jets. If you can make sure the Jets stay down as much as possible and never be a team that goes after you, and your Patriots continue to always be above them, take it.
You know what? I feel like we're in that. I feel like people are kind of hating on us, too, for what's going on with Bullet. Same thing.
Yeah.
Probably some people are like, oh, look at that interview. I don't like that. They're with Spike? Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Hate it.
But it's all right. So we're at that point, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It has been a long night, but you know, it's okay.
I was like, oh, boy.
It's final thoughts. What do you got for final thoughts? Because my final thought is this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, COVID is out there. I said it before, and I'll say it again. COVID is real. Please protect your loved ones. If you agree in getting vaccinations, get vaccinated. If not, okay, just stay the hell away from me and my loved ones. That's it. And go to work, like my guy said. Just go to work. Don't be a lazy bum. That's all I got.
My final thought is this. Big E, WWE champion, not fair. He got the title taken off of him the other night Brock Lesnar comes in and just takes the title off of him. If you follow wrestling out there, it's not right. Roman Reigns, this is what happened in this world of wrestling, right? I don't watch as much anymore. It's not as entertaining. I saw Big E. His name was Big E Langston at the time. This was back in 2013 at Raw 900 in Boston. Big fucking dude, right? Yep. And the thing with Big E was that I saw him in person. I was like, he's got WWE champion written all over him. And I've met Big E at 2014. I went to WrestleMania, and it was WrestleMania 29. It was in New York. I was driving back to Boston. It was at a McDonald's. It was him and the Usos. And at the time, Big E was the manager for Dolph Ziggler. I met him, big dude, the nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
Fast forward to 2021, Big E Langston, who's now called Big E, had the opportunity to win the WWE Championship. The big thing about this, Cliff, in the WWE world is the Kofi Kingston, who's part of his group, I believe was the first WWE black champion ever. And it was a big deal. Bobby Lashley won it, and then he won it. But his reign only lasted 4 months, and he didn't get the right push. Roman Reigns, who's been pushed as their top guy at WWE, they want him. They're missing John Cena. They missed guys like The Rock. They missed the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Hulk Hogan's, the ones that make it and they carry the torch. Roman Reigns got COVID and was supposed to face Brock Lesnar. So they had a separate title match. And Big E had a fatal four-way match with these 3 other wrestlers. And because Roman got COVID, they had to scramble last minute. Now, Brock Lesnar is money. He is a pioneer for what he's done. The WWE scene for 3 years, goes to UFC and becomes a legitimate UFC heavyweight champion to now be worth money. And everyone pulling him anywhere, and WWE pays him. He's an attraction. Well, they brought Brock Lesnar in, and they can't let Brock Lesnar lose.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar gets what he wants, and unfortunately, Big E lost his title. And I felt bad because you work so hard to know 2013 when I first saw him at the TD Garden, and you looked at him coming down the ramp in a dark match and saying, that guy's got WWE champion written all over him. And it takes 7 years to claw, 8 years to claw and scrap your way to the top, going through just obstacles, injuries.
And he only got 4 months.
And only got 4, I think it was only 4 months with the WWE Championship, which you're the WWE Champion. You're carrying the company, and it's over for him.
Wow.
Like that's like you claw and scrape your way for your entire career to only have a run for 4 months, and that's it. And to lose to Brock Lesnar, it's politics because it's Brock Lesnar. I understand it's predictions and all that. It's predetermined stuff, wrestling, but as an individual human being, that this is what his job is, it made me feel devastated for Big E. And I'm sure a lot of people that work in WWE feel the same way. So he got robbed. And it's just part of what it's Vince McMahon's fucking world, and that's what he wants. So I felt devastated seeing that happen on Sunday.
And there's no way for a rematch. They don't do that, or it's just not worth it.
It's just like it might happen. I don't know what they're gonna do. I didn't watch Raw tonight. I keep following it a little bit, but you're not beating. Brock's holding that title till WrestleMania. He's their main attraction. He gets the ratings. Like that's Roman Reigns will eventually come back. Like it's just. Maybe Big E gets another run later on, or he does something else, but it happens. It makes me feel bad for some of these guys that claw their way to the top, and it only lasts.
It's a lot of work.
Months.
I actually we held an event 2 years ago for a friend of mine in Randolph. Those guys put in a lot of work.
Yeah, those local shows.
It was local. Yeah,
they're awesome. Because there is times where I remember going to SummerSlam and it was in Brooklyn, New York. It was a big deal going down there, driving down and watching SummerSlam weekend. And I went to one of those local shows, and probably 5, 6, 7, 8 of those wrestlers become, actually in the professional wrestling of WWE or AEW now. Same thing at these local shows. There's usually 1 or 2 guys that slip and they make it in somewhere. But that's where you work on your craft. And it's better when it's not like the live camera and the live show, because they feed in with the audience and you have a great time. I've gone to those $20 shows. You go there, you have a great time.
That was my first time. I actually enjoyed. I took some pictures for them, but it was a fundraiser that they did in Randolph. So really good time. Hopefully he gets an opportunity, because like you said, I can tell there's an agenda, like it with anything.
It's Brock Lesnar. You can't. It's just unfortunate timing. It happens.
It happens. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Clifford Bonet, and you know who that guy is over there. And tell them where they can get. I want a hoodie like that, man. Where can they get that? Can we say hit you up?
Someone hooked me up with the hoodie.
Was it the kids that drew that for you?
No, I mean someone reached into my DMs, and if you want this hoodie, just message me directly, or a T-shirt. He showed me it.
I like that.
I don't want to promote it too much.
Yeah,
because
not get him in trouble. I got it.
Exactly. That was the thing. I saw it, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think of this?" And I was like, "Listen, like, I think it's awesome. I'm like, I want to wear that on the next show." And he got it to me within like 2 days. He sent it to me, and I was like, "That's awesome." I don't like wearing white because I'm fat, so it doesn't really look white. Doesn't really look that good on me, but I like it. It looks good.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's a Mac Jones type of like Pat the Patriot holding the Mac 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, my name is Clifford Bonet. You know it's Mr. Baz over there, and we are out of here.